Every moment of your life, every friendship you've built, every conflict you've faced, every success you've achieved has arguably been touched by one skill: communication. Communication is at the core of human connection. It is how ideas are born, how relationships are built, and how dreams become reality. And yet, it's one of the most underestimated skills in both personal and professional life. So many people think communication is just talking. But true communication isn't just about words. It's about connection. It is about how we make others feel when we speak, when we listen, and when we act. Reflect on it. When was the last time you felt truly heard? Not just listened to, but understood deeply. Sincerely understood. That moment likely made you feel valued. It might have inspired you. That is the power of communication done right. Now, flip that around. When was the last time you felt dismissed? Ignored? Misunderstood? That, too, is communication, but of the wrong kind. And those moments can drain motivation, shatter trust, and weaken teams, families, even entire organizations. Ineffective communication doesn't just lead to confusion, it leads to disconnection. And disconnection is dangerous. It can create tension in homes, break down relationships, and cause organizations to lose their purpose and people to lose their drive. But effective communication, real and intentional. Communication is a superpower. It is the key that unlocks motivation, strengthens relationships, and turns potential into performance. As leaders, parents, partners, and human beings, we are all communicators. Every conversation is an opportunity to either build someone up or tear them down. And that choice determines whether we move forward together or fall apart alone. At its core, communication is the exchange of meaning or information between people. It's not just sending information, it's ensuring understanding. It is not just talking, it's connecting. True communication is like building a bridge. On one side is you, your thoughts, feelings, and intentions. On the other side is someone else, their perspective, experiences, and emotions. The bridge you build with your words allows understanding to travel back and forth. But that bridge must be built on clarity and empathy. Without those pillars, the bridge collapses. In every conversation, including by means of speech or sign language, you're either building a bridge or a wall. Words that uplift build bridges. Words that belittle build walls. When communication flows well, it becomes the bloodstream of a healthy team, a healthy relationship, a healthy life. It keeps motivation alive, energy moving, and trust growing. That is why mastering communication is not just about professional success, it's about human success. It's about the kind of person you want to be and the kind of impact you want to have. Communication is not just a tool we use, it's the very fabric of our lives. Whether we're raising a family, leading an organization, or simply trying to navigate our own. Dreams, our ability to communicate, determines our success. In organizations, poor communication is one of the biggest causes of low morale, lack of motivation, and team failure. A leader may have a brilliant vision, but if they can't communicate it clearly and respectfully, the team may never see it, never believe it, and never follow it. The same applies at home. Families fall apart not always because of huge betrayals or major mistakes, but because of years of small misunderstandings, unspoken words, and conversations avoided. Everyday communication, the messages we exchange, the way we greet someone, the tone we use, the patience we show, the behaviors we exhibit, or the respect we give shapes the environment around us. A simple word of encouragement can spark courage in someone who's struggling. A careless word can crush the same spirit. If you want to motivate others, if you want to lead, inspire, and make a difference, it in part begins with how you communicate. Leaders are not defined by titles, they're defined by influence. And influence is impossible without effective communication. But here's the beautiful truth. Communication is a skill that can be learned, refined, and mastered. It's not a gift for the few, rather, it's a choice for all. And when you choose to communicate with clarity, empathy, and respect, you set in motion a ripple effect that touches every area of life: your work, your relationships, your confidence, and your peace. If communication is the bridge that connects people, then barriers are the storms that threaten to destroy it. We have all experienced those moments when a message is misunderstood, when emotions take over, or when pride gets in the way. But to communicate effectively, we must first understand what stops us. Assumptions are silent killers of connection. We assume we know what the other person means before they finish speaking. We assume our message was clear, even when it wasn't. We assume people see things the same way we do, but they most likely don't. When we operate on assumptions, we stop listening. And when listening stops, understanding disappears. The ego loves to be right, even at the cost of relationships. When communication becomes a contest instead of a conversation, everyone loses. True communication isn't about winning, it's about understanding. Leaders who let go of ego and choose humility communicate in a way that builds trust and loyalty. They make people feel safe to speak, safe to share ideas, safe to be honest. Listening is understanding with your ears, your eyes, and your heart. It is one of the most powerful forms of respect you can give another human being. Effective communicators know that the real power is in listening first, speaking second. Anger, frustration, and impatience cloud our words and distort our tone. Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment and regretted it later? Most of us have. Emotionally charged communication might feel satisfying in the moment, but it often creates long-term damage. Learning to pause, to breathe, to reflect before speaking can turn an argument into understanding. This is perhaps the most serious barrier of all. When people feel disrespected, they tend to shut down. It doesn't matter how good your message is, disrespect will make sure it isn't heard. Respect is the foundation of every strong relationship, and the absence of it destroys even the strongest teams. Effective communication has the power to motivate, inspire, and transform people. It's what turns potential into progress. Think about a time someone's words lifted you up. Maybe a teacher told you, "You've got what it takes." Maybe a manager said, "I believe in you." Or maybe a friend said, "You're stronger than you think." Those moments didn't just make you feel good, they made you want to do better. That is the power of effective communication. It ignites the spark of motivation. When we speak with clarity, encouragement, and sincerity, we fuel confidence in others. And when people feel capable and valued, they perform better, they commit more deeply, and they give their best. Every message we send either builds trust or erodes it. Trust doesn't come from grand speeches, it comes from consistent, honest, and transparent communication. A leader who listens, who explains decisions, who shows empathy, that leader creates an atmosphere where people feel included, not intimidated. And where there's trust, there's teamwork. In any group, a team, a family, an organization, communication is the glue that holds people together. When communication is open, ideas flow freely. Creativity blossoms. Problems get solved faster. When communication is poor, even simple tasks become complicated. Effective communication turns a collection of individuals into a community of purpose. It's the difference between a group that works together and a group that merely works near each other. Every great movement, every successful organization begins with someone communicating a vision clearly enough that others can see it. 2. When a vision is shared with passion and respect, it becomes contagious. That is how change happens. One conversation, one message, one signal, one written thought, one moment of inspiration at a time. If effective communication is the engine of success, then respect is the fuel that keeps it running. Respectful communication isn't just about politeness or good manners. It's about recognizing the humanity in every person you interact with. It's about understanding that every individual, no matter their background, position, or opinion, deserves to be treated with dignity. Respectful communication means speaking to people, not at them. It means respecting others' perspectives. It means listening without interrupting. It means using words that uplift, not words that wound. It means showing patience, even when you disagree. When you communicate respectfully, people feel seen and valued, and when people feel valued, they give you their best. Respect transforms communication from an exchange of thoughts or information into an exchange of worth. Human beings have a universal need to feel respected, appreciated, and heard. When that need is met, motivation resets naturally. Respect is one of the top drivers of job satisfaction, engagement, and performance. It's more powerful than money, more lasting than praise. Why? Because respect speaks to the heart. It says, "You matter." And when people feel that, they show up differently with more focus, creativity, and loyalty. Respectful communication isn't confined to one environment. It's a way of life. In the workplace, it builds stronger teams and higher performance. In families, it nurtures harmony and emotional safety. In friendships, it deepens trust and connection. And within yourself, it creates confidence and inner peace. Respectful communication is the thread that weaves people together across cultures, generations, and differences. When you make respect a habit, you become a person or a leader of influence, not authority. People follow you not because they have to, but because they want to. Every communication is a chance to show respect. Every communication, no matter how brief or casual, carries the power to influence hearts and shape relationships. Each time we speak, write, or listen, we reveal our character, our values, and our respect for others. Words are not just sounds or symbols. They are bridges that connect one soul to another. Every conversation is an opportunity to sow into someone's life, a moment to plant hope, encouragement, or confidence in the heart of another person. A simple smile, a sincere compliment, or a patient ear can transform someone's day, and sometimes even their destiny. We may never fully know the impact of our words, but we can be intentional in making that impact a positive one. Every word is a seed planted carefully, and it will grow into trust, motivation, and success. Seeds of gratitude blossom into stronger relationships. Seeds of encouragement grow into courage and perseverance. Seeds of honesty yield integrity and credibility. Just as a gardener tends to the soil with care, so too must we cultivate our communication with mindfulness and purpose. Let every word you speak be guided by the desire to uplift, inspire, and connect. Let your tone reflect respect, your language show understanding, and your intentions be rooted in love. When you speak life into others, you water the garden of humanity, and from that garden, both you and others will reap abundance. Let your tone, your ability to listen, your gestures and presence reflect respect. Let your language reveal understanding, and let every intention be rooted in empathy. This is the essence of effective communication. Communication that doesn't just inform, but transforms. Words are powerful. They can build bridges or burn them. They can open hearts or close them. From the moment we wake up to the moment we rest our heads, we are surrounded by words, the words we speak, the words we read, and the words we tell ourselves. And yet, how often do we pause to think about their power? A single sentence can change someone's day. A single phrase can inspire a lifetime of courage. A single word spoken in kindness can save a life. We often think that grand speeches move nations. But in truth, it's the everyday words that move hearts. When we recognize that, we begin to speak differently. We begin to speak consciously. Communication is about listening and not just about talking. Real listening deep. Intentional listening is one of the greatest gifts you can give another human being. When you listen fully, without judgment or distraction, you're telling the other person, you matter. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Think about it. When was the last time someone truly listened to you? Not half listened while scrolling their phone? Not nodded absent-mindedly while waiting to interrupt, but truly listened with their eyes, their heart, their silence. That moment stays with you, doesn't it? Because being heard is being seen. Effective communication starts there in listening, not just with our ears, but with our empathy. It is choosing curiosity over assumption, patience over interruption, and presence over distraction. The tone of our voice is like music. It sets the emotional rhythm of what we say. You can speak truth, but if your tone is harsh, the message will fall flat. You can speak correction, but if your tone is kind, the message will be received with grace. Our tone is often louder than our words. It reveals our attitude, our emotions, our respect or lack of it. Think of someone you admire who always speaks calmly, warmly, with care. You trust them not just because of what they say, but how they say it. Their tone makes you feel safe. Now think of a moment when you were misunderstood, not because of your words, but because of your tone. Maybe your stress made your voice sharper than you intended. Maybe your frustration turned truth into a weapon. That is why mindful tone is essential. Before we speak, we must align our intention with our delivery. Our tone should be the bridge that carries empathy across, not the barrier that blocks it. A simple shift in tone can transform confrontation into collaboration. It can turn defensiveness into dialogue. It can make truth feel like compassion, not criticism. Communication is not only verbal, it's also physical. Your body is always speaking, whether you realize it or not. The way you stand, the way you make eye contact, the way you gesture, all of it sends a message long before words are spoken. If your arms are crossed, you may seem closed off. If your gaze wanders, you may seem disinterested. But if you lean in slightly, maintain soft eye contact, and nod with attention, your body says, I'm here. I'm listening. You're important. The truth is, people will often forget your exact words, but they will never forget how your presence made them feel. So let your gestures reflect respect. Let your posture show openness. Let your eyes communicate kindness. When your words and body align, your communication becomes authentic, it becomes powerful. At the heart of every meaningful exchange lies respect. Respect is not about agreeing on everything. Rather, it's about honoring the humanity in others, even when you disagree. Respect means you can challenge ideas without attacking people. It means you can debate passionately without demeaning personally. It means you can disagree without being disagreeable. When respect guides your communication, people don't just hear you, they feel safe hearing you. And when people feel safe, real dialogue happens. Growth happens, connection happens. Respect is the soil from which understanding grows. Without it, words become weapons. With it, they become bridges. Understanding is deeper than listening. It's listening with the intent to see through another's eyes. It's the courage to step outside your perspective and momentarily live in someone else's. True understanding requires humility, the humility to admit you might not know everything, the openness to say, tell me more. When we approach conversations with curiosity instead of certainty, walls come down. People stop defending and start sharing. Misunderstandings dissolve. Hearts soften. So, let your language and expressions show understanding. Understanding doesn't mean agreement. It means compassion. It means honoring another's truth as valid, even if it's not your own. Empathy is the heartbeat of effective communication. Without it, even the most eloquent words fall flat. Empathy is not pity. It's not about feeling for someone, it's about feeling with them. It is entering their emotional world, even for a moment. When empathy guides your speech, criticism turns into care. Disagreement turns into dialogue, and differences become opportunities for growth. Empathy does not require you to fix others. It only asks you to be present with them. When we root our intentions in empathy, our communication becomes healing. It becomes a space where others can lay down their armor, knowing they will not be attacked, but accepted. It takes courage to communicate. With empathy in a world that often prizes being right over being kind, it takes courage to pause before reacting. But that courage changes everything. Because effective communication isn't about winning arguments. It's about winning trust. It is not about proving a point. It's about creating understanding. It is not about dominance. It is about connection. Each time you choose empathy over ego, you make the world a little kinder. Every word we speak ripples outward, touching hearts we may never see. A kind word to a stranger can echo for years. A compassionate conversation can mend generations of silence. An honest yet gentle truth can change the trajectory of someone's life. We rarely realize how far our words travel, but they do. They linger in memory, they shape identities, they inspire actions. Speak wisely, speak gently. Speak as if your words are seeds, because they are. And remember, whatever you plant in others will eventually grow. Plant kindness, plant hope, plant understanding. In a world that divides, choose to connect intentionally. Let your presence be a calm voice amid the noise. Let your communication be a light that reminds others of what empathy and respect sound like. True influence or leadership doesn't come from volume or authority. It comes from the quiet strength of someone who communicates with heart. Reflect on these. How different could your relationships be if every conversation began with the intention to uplift, inspire, and connect? How would your workplace feel if every meeting were grounded in respect and empathy? How would our world change if every voice were guided by love? Communicate consciously. Let every word you speak be guided by the desire to uplift, inspire, and connect. Let your tone express kindness. Let your listeners show understanding. Let your gestures reflect respect. And let your intentions be rooted in empathy. Because when communication flows from empathy, connection follows naturally. And when connection flourishes, humanity heals. Respectful communication sounds simple in theory, but living it daily takes intention, awareness, and emotional maturity. It is not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. And even more, why you say it. Here are the essential ways to practice it. 1. Choose respect as a mindset. Respect begins long before words are spoken. It starts in the mind with the decision to see others as worthy of dignity. Before any conversation, remind yourself, this person matters. That mindset changes everything. Your tone, your patience, your body language. When you truly believe that the person you're communicating with is important, your actions reflect it. 2. Listen more than you speak. Listening is the cornerstone of respectful communication. When you listen deeply, without interrupting, judging, or planning your reply, you show that the other person's thoughts have value. People don't always remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. Listening makes them feel heard, respected, and valued. Try this simple exercise. Next time you're in a conversation, focus completely on understanding the other person's message. Don't think about your response. Don't check your phone. Just listen. You'll be amazed how much trust that builds. 3. Speak with empathy. Empathy is the ability to step into someone else's shoes and see the world through their eyes. Before you speak, ask yourself, how might my words make this person feel? Empathy softens our tone, refines our words, and deepens our connection. When you respond with empathy, even in disagreement, you disarm defensiveness and open the door to mutual understanding. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing with everything someone says. It means respecting their right to feel the way they do. 4. Use words that build, not break. Words are powerful. They can heal or hurt, inspire or discourage, build bridges or burn them. Respectful communicators understand this power. They choose words that uplift, encourage, and strengthen relationships. Even in correction or disagreement, there's a respectful way to speak truth. Instead of, "You're wrong." Try, "I see it differently. Can we explore this together?" Instead of, "You never listen." Try, "I'd really appreciate if I could share my perspective." Respectful communication doesn't water down truth. Rather, it delivers truth in a way that others can receive. Instead of, "You're wrong." Try, "I see it differently. Can we explore this together?" Instead of, "You never listen." Try, "I'd really appreciate if I could share my perspective." Respectful communication doesn't water down truth. Rather, it delivers truth in a way that others can receive. 5. Avoid talking down to people. Talking down to others not only disrespects them, but it also likely closes their ears and hearts, whether you're leading a team, teaching a class, or speaking to children. Remember, respect doesn't flow downward from authority. It flows outward from humanity. Treat everyone from the senior leadership to the intern, from the elder to the child with the same respect. That's how you influence people, not intimidate them. 6. Stay calm under pressure. Respect is tested most when emotions run high. When conversations get heated, respectful communicators remain calm. They pause, breathe, and respond rather than react. It's in those high-pressure moments that your character and your communication are truly revealed. Being calm doesn't mean being passive. It means you control the situation instead of letting it control you. 7. Communicate the way you want to be communicated with. This is the heart of respectful communication, the golden rule in action. Speak to others the way you wish to be spoken to. Listen to others the way you wish to be listened to. If everyone practiced this simple rule, workplaces would transform, families would heal, and communities would thrive. The effect of respect. Every act of respectful communication creates a ripple, a positive chain reaction that spreads further than we can imagine. When you speak respectfully to one person, you're not just influencing that conversation. You're shaping the tone of every interaction that follows. A leader who communicates with respect models it for their team. A parent who communicates with respect teaches it to their children. A friend who communicates with respect inspires it in others. Respect is contagious, but so is disrespect. That is why your example matters. 1. In organizations, respectful communication transforms workplaces. It reduces conflict, increases morale, and boosts productivity. When employees feel respected, they're more motivated, more engaged, and more loyal. They contribute ideas freely because they know they'll be heard, not humiliated. Respect keeps great people around. A respectful culture also attracts talent. 2. In families and relationships. In families, respect builds emotional safety, the foundation of love and trust. Children who grow up in respectful environments learn to communicate confidently and kindly. Partners who practice respectful communication resolve conflicts faster and strengthen their bond. Respect in relationships doesn't mean avoiding hard conversations. It means having them in a spirit of care, not criticism. 3. In society, on a larger scale, respectful communication is the key to unity. In a world divided by opinions, politics, and differences, respect becomes the bridge that keeps us human. When we listen to understand rather than to argue, when we seek common ground rather than victory, we create communities where peace and progress can coexist. Becoming a communicator who inspires. Now that we understand what effective and respectful communication looks like, the question is, how can you become a communicator who inspires others? Here are a few guiding principles to remember. 1. Be authentic. People can sense authenticity. Speak from the heart. Don't use fancy words to impress. Rather, use honest words to express. Authenticity breaks barriers faster than perfection ever will. When people know you're genuine, they'll trust your message, even when it's tough to hear. 2. Be intentional. Every conversation has power, so be intentional with your words. Ask yourself before you speak, is this true? Is this kind? Is this necessary? These 3 questions will guide you toward communication that builds, not breaks. 3. Be courageous. Respectful communication isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about handling it with courage and compassion. Speak up when something needs to be said, but do it with grace. Silence can be respectful, but not when it hides truth that could help someone grow. Courageous communicators use honesty as a tool for healing, not harm. 4. Be consistent. Your credibility as a communicator is built on consistency. Don't switch your tone based on who's watching or what you stand to gain. When people see that your respect is constant for everyone, in every situation, they'll trust your integrity and follow your lead. 5. Be a lifelong learner. Great communicators never stop learning. Read, listen, observe, and reflect. Ask for feedback, including on how you communicate, and take it humbly. Because the moment you stop growing as a communicator is the moment you stop connecting. Speak life. Every word you speak carries power, power to inspire or to injure. Communication is not just what you say, it's who you are when you say it. The most powerful communicators are not those with the loudest voices or the biggest audiences. They're the ones who use their voice to serve, to heal, to motivate, and to lift others higher. Respectful communication is not a technique, it's a lifestyle. It is a daily choice to treat others with kindness, patience, and dignity, no matter the situation. So, as you go forward into your work, your home, your relationships, remember this. Speak with clarity, listen with empathy, lead with respect. Because when you communicate effectively and respectfully, you don't just exchange words, you exchange energy, purpose, and hope. Your words can be the spark that reignites someone's motivation. They can be the bridge that reconnects broken relationships. They can be the message that turns a struggling team into a thriving one. So, speak life, speak hope, speak with respect, because the way you communicate can change the world. One conversation at a time. May you communicate effectively. May you practice respectful communication. May your life uplift those you communicate with. Blessings to you. Live a crowned life.